You've been told your whole life that stress is the enemy. Avoid it, reduce it, eliminate it, make everything comfortable, and you'll finally feel okay. And yet the most comfortable generation in history is drowning in anxiety. So what if the ancient Spartans understood something modern life forgot? What if the lost Spartan training method wasn't brutality for its own sake, but a technology? A way to build a nervous system that doesn't collapse when life gets loud. Because the Agoge wasn't just training the body, it was training the stress response. And modern science quietly, relentlessly has been proving the same principle for years. Controlled stress, applied correctly, builds resilience. Not endless stress, not chaos, not trauma, but deliberate, measured discomfort with recovery. That's the line most people miss. In Japan, there's a word I want you to borrow for this entire video, shugyō, austere training. The kind of practice that shapes character through difficulty. Not because difficulty is holy, but because it reveals what you really are and then gives you a chance to rebuild it. The Spartans had their own version. The Agoge education program designed to instill endurance, discipline, and cohesion through hardship. Now listen carefully. On Kenji, I'm not here to romanticize Sparta. I'm not here to tell you to starve yourself, deprive yourself of sleep, or chase pain like it's enlightenment. I'm here to extract the method and replace the barbarism with science, because the lost method is simple. Stress inoculation. A small dose of stress, so you become immune to a larger one. There's even a scientific review that uses almost the same language, stress inoculation, as a way to seed resilience, depending on the nature and timing of the stressor. This is where the modern mind panics. You've been trained to believe that if something feels uncomfortable, it must be harmful. But your body is built on adaptation. Muscles grow by being challenged. Bones strengthen through load. Even your attention becomes sharper when you train it under strain. Your nervous system is no different. The Agoge, in its harsh historical form, deliberately exposed boys to deprivation food, comfort, sleep, so they learned to function when conditions were bad. Modern science doesn't endorse cruelty, but it does confirm the central mechanism, exposure, skill building, and controlled practice can change how you respond to stress. And here's the truth bomb. You are not fragile. You are undertrained. You are not weak. You are uninoculated. Your life is full of stress, but almost none of it is the kind that makes you stronger. It's the kind that makes you anxious, unpredictable, constant, unprocessed, with no recovery. That is not Agoge. That is decay. So let's contrast two people. The first is the modern drifter. He avoids discomfort. He medicates his stress with scrolling, sugar, porn, noise, excuses. He thinks he is resting, but he is actually teaching his nervous system that discomfort equals danger, so his tolerance shrinks, and ordinary life starts to feel unbearable. The second is the trained human. She uses stress like a scalpel. She applies it in controlled doses. She recovers properly. Over time, her baseline rises. She becomes calm in situations that used to overwhelm her. Same stress hormones, different training. Now I'm going to give you the Spartan method in a form you can actually use. 3 phases. The same arc you see in evidence-based stress inoculation training. Understand stress. Build coping skills, then apply them under controlled challenge. Phase 1. Name the stress response. Most people are being driven by their stress response without ever recognizing it. Your heart rate spikes. Your breath goes shallow. Your thoughts speed up. You become irritable. You seek escape. Then you call it my personality. It's not your personality. It's physiology. So your first practice is awareness. Once per day, when you feel pressure, you label what's happening in plain words. My chest is tight. My jaw is clenched. My mind is racing. I want to avoid. This sounds small, but it does something profound. It moves you from being inside the storm to watching the storm. Phase 2. Install a control lever. Spartans didn't have breathwork terminology, but every warrior culture eventually discovers the same lever breath is the handle of the nervous system. There's research showing that deep, slow breathing can improve vagal tone and reduce stress and anxiety markers in a single session. So here's your Spartan lever. Twice per day, for 3 minutes, slow your breathing. Nasal inhale, long exhale. Not dramatic, not mystical, just steady. When you do this daily, you're teaching your body a new default. I can be under pressure and still control my state. That's resilience. Phase 3, controlled hardship, your modern agoge. This is where you inoculate. Pick one physical stressor, one mental stressor, one social stressor. Not all at once, one per week, rotated. This matters because the point is not to suffer. The point is to train. Let's start with a physical inoculation that modern research has been exploring: cold exposure. Cold water immersion has been studied for various health and well-being outcomes, with a systematic review noting time-dependent effects related to stress, sleep quality, and quality of life. Does that mean you need ice baths to be a warrior? No. It means you need voluntary discomfort that forces you to regulate yourself. Cold does that fast. If you choose cold as your physical inoculation, keep it safe and modest. The goal is not to prove you're tough. The goal is to practice staying calm while your body screams. Because that skill transfers. Now mental inoculation. Your modern Agoge is sustained attention under mild strain. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Choose one task. Remove distraction. Then work while the itch to escape rises. That itch is the training. Every time you resist it, you teach your brain, I can stay with difficulty. And now the social inoculation, the one most people avoid because it exposes them. Have one honest conversation you've been delaying. Not an argument, not a confession dump. A clean, direct statement. I need to set a boundary. I need help. I'm sorry. This isn't working. Social stress is real stress. Training it makes you powerful. Now, let's tie this back to Sparta without pretending we live in 300 BCE. The Agoge worked when it worked, because it did 3 things modern life refuses to do. It standardized discipline. It normalized discomfort. It built identity through shared challenge. You can take the first 2 immediately. Standardized discipline means you don't decide each day whether you'll train. You decide once. Then you execute. This is how identity is built. Normalized discomfort means you stop treating every unpleasant feeling as an emergency. You treat it as a signal, and sometimes as a tool. But there is a line you must respect. Sparta often crossed it. Modern science draws it clearly. Resilience comes from stress with recovery, not stress without end. Sleep deprivation, for example, is not toughness training in most modern contexts. It reliably impairs attention, working memory, and decision-making. So don't copy the superficial image of the Spartans starving, sleepless, brutal. Copy the mechanism-measured challenge, repeated exposure, skillful regulation. Now here are the mistakes, because people always corrupt good methods. Mistake 1. You turn stress inoculation into self-punishment. If your training is fueled by self-hatred, you won't become resilient. You'll become brittle. Mistake 2. You increase intensity too quickly. Inoculation requires dosage. Too much stress is not training. It's injury. Mistake 3. You skip recovery and call it discipline. Recovery is part of the method. Without it, you're not building capacity. You're draining it. Mistake 4. You avoid the mental skill piece. Cold exposure without breath control is just suffering. Hard work without attention training is just exhaustion. The skill is what makes it transferable. Mistake 5. You chase the Spartan aesthetic instead of the Spartan outcome. You don't need a warrior lifestyle. You need a resilient nervous system. Now your challenge is simple, specific, and it starts tomorrow. For the next 7 days, you will do a Micro-Agoge. 1. 3 minutes of slow breathing twice per day. Use the long exhale. 2. 1 controlled discomfort per day. Choose from cold shower finish, a hard walk in bad weather, or a short conditioning session. Keep it safe. Keep it repeatable. 3. 1 20-minute focus block per day. Single task, no escape. And on day 7, you do one thing you've been avoiding socially. One honest message. One boundary. One direct ask. That is enough to change your stress baseline. Not because you became Spartan, because you became trained. If you want a clean overview of the Agoge background, this is a solid starting reference. Now I want you to answer in the comments, and I want it to be real. Which part of the Micro-Agoge will challenge you most? Physical discomfort, focus training, or the social conversation you've been avoiding?